I mean, Bill. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, brother. Hey, buddy.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Woo! Oh, shit.
Lovely, lovely. Good evening. I am so excited and pleased and covered with confetti to be here this evening and to be a part of this wonderful speaker series. Let's hear it for Walk the Talk. This is a fabulous series. I am also honored to share the stage with these wonderful presenters this evening. So my talk today is going to be, of course, on positive thinking, but I wanted to look at something that I oftentimes feel is overlooked with regards to positive thinking, and it is the importance of believing in yourself. I think oftentimes we make an assumption that that is a part of it, and we could be assuming wrong, because if we don't believe in ourselves, then it kind of undermines anything that we think because it's not really actionable. Make sense? Okay. I would like for you to repeat after me. Creativity cannot exist without optimism. This is a true statement. And I would like to continue here and let you know that music for me has been my introduction to the entire creative process. And for that, I am incredibly grateful. However, that almost was not the case. Let me explain. As a youngster, I was very interested in the old movie musicals. While my buddies were outside playing with the Tonka trucks and all that, I would gravitate towards the inside and see what was coming on the TV, and all that singing and dancing and stuff just attracted me and just held my attention. So that's what I was doing. That was my priority, was to check out these old movie musicals. This one day I happened to go in and I was watching The Five Pennies with Danny Kaye. And, you know, I mean, it's a fabulous show and all that, but in the midst of this, there was this older black gentleman that came into the scene, and he absolutely captured my attention. I mean, fully. The way he walked, the way he talked, just his presence, the way he sang, the way he played, just was mesmerizing to me. Louis Armstrong. Now, I had never heard of him up to that point. I had never seen him before. But there was something about him that just went through me. And what it was a sense of joy. It was a sense of joy that came from him when he talked, when he walked. No matter what it was that he did, there was this sense of joy. And I pretty much decided in that moment, at about 6 years old, that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to do what Louis Armstrong did for me. I wanted to give other people a sense of joy. And to do that, I was going to play a trumpet. Now, I was committed to playing this trumpet. I mean, I would tell everybody I'd come in contact with, man, I'm going to play the trumpet, I'm going to play the trumpet, I'm going to play the trumpet. It's like, yeah, Billy, no, I'm going to play the trumpet, I'm going to play the trumpet, I'm going to do this, I want to play the trumpet. So I just could not wait until I was old enough to get into the music program at school to play that trumpet. Well, about third grade, fourth grade or so, they passed out the old song flutes. You know the one I'm talking about, the little black recorder thingies. And so, you know, I've got a twin sister who was also interested in music, and she's probably the most talented person that I actually know. So she was playing all kind of songs, stuff on the radio, and I was like, whoa, what's up with that? So I wasn't really doing that. I was just, you know, you know. So I'm just painting by the numbers. So at the end of the year, they had what was called a music competency test. Now, this was the big moment so that you could move into the band instruments and I could get my trumpet. Okay, the result of this music competency test, my twin sister got in with flying colors, picked out her clarinet and everything. Me, I didn't make it. In fact, the music director at the school said that I had no musical ability. It's a pretty crushing blow when you have such a dream that you've been holding on to for so long. So I really couldn't accept this because I knew differently. I knew that God would not be so cruel as to give me a dream like that just to toy with me. Maybe it was a desire. You can call it desire. You can call it intuition. But I'd rather look at it at this point as a calling. Because I was absolutely certain that I needed to be playing this trumpet. And so I would just, kick and scream. I was unable to accept it. My parents decided to go to the school and meet with the music director. And he defended that music competency test and said, I really do not believe that your son has any musical ability. So we stand by our decision. My parents shared with him my desire. So he came up with a caveat here. He said, okay, here's the option. If you provide your son with a trumpet, we will let him into the band because we're not going to let him use a school instrument because we don't believe he belongs there. This was pretty crushing because we couldn't afford a trumpet. I was in a family of 5. My father is an Indianapolis police officer feeding a family of 5. This just was not a pretty scene. In fact, our family car was the police car. So I'm thinking, if we had enough money to get a trumpet, we probably got enough money to get a car. But we struggled, to get school clothes. We struggled to, make sure the bills were paid on time and that sort of thing. It was tough. So I felt like that was the death of my dream, so I was absolutely bummed about this. About a week later, I was sitting on the porch, and my father pulled up in the police car, and he shouted out, "Get in the car!" So I moped on over and got in the car, and so we drove off. Not a word was said. We pulled into a strip mall and parked the car. My dad took me by the hand and we walked through the parking lot to a store called Indiana Music. As we walked in, I found myself staring eye to eye with a display case. And right in the center of that display case was this trumpet. The sales clerk came over and spoke to my dad, and, "May I help you?" He said, "No, you can't help me, but you can help my son." He said, "Billy, tell the man what you want." So the clerk began packing up this trumpet. I still don't fully understand what's going on here. The clerk comes back over and sets the trumpet on the counter, the case, and he tells my dad it'll be like $380, which was like $1 million. And my dad turned And he looked at me. It was as if in that moment he could see my universe. He could see my future. And in that moment, it was very clear to me that he was saying silently, I do believe in you. I was very clear about the level of sacrifice that was going on at this particular moment. So we took that trumpet, and I carried it out of the store, and we got back in the car, and I set it on my lap, and we drove off. Not a word was spoken. And I played my trumpet, handled my business. There is so much in that particular moment that I am thankful for. But I know that it had to do with me believing in myself and holding on to that dream. Flash forward. This last August, I'm driving out of my apartment complex, and there's this kid chasing me with his bicycle, yelling, Bill, 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 Bill. I'm looking in the rear view. I go, what in the world is that? And I see it's a little neighbor kid. And I pull over, and he runs up next to me, and he says, Bill, he says, I understand you played the trumpet, and I'm going to play the trumpet in school. And I wanted to know, would you give me lessons? And I turned, and I looked. And I could see him, and I could see me in him. And this was that moment where I could give something back, pay it forward, and that's exactly what I did. I started working with this young man, giving him trumpet lessons 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for an hour. Now, that would be a small fortune for anybody who's paid for music lessons. But I didn't charge him a dime. I still don't charge him a dime because this is my chance to give something back. So I'm working with him. And then he's got school concerts coming up, the fall concert. I was there. His second concert, the holiday concert. I was there. Then I heard about the solo ensemble contest was coming up. They said, well, that's typically reserved for the 7th graders. This child is in 6th grade. I said, well, I would like to see that he's in that contest. Now's as good a time as any. And so we paid the late fee, and we got him in that contest. Here we are working out before the contest. I thought it was very interesting that the mom said, she sort of set this frame of this picture. She was insistent that the American flag be the centerpiece of this photograph. I didn't notice that until later when I saw the photograph. So we went in, and my man competed, and he got the gold medal. He got the first. So, in a nutshell, when I said to you that creativity cannot exist without optimism, it's because I'm very clear that the entire future of my career and my life, as I know it and have been able to experience it as of now, would not have occurred had it not been for my father sacrificing for me and believing in me and allowing me the opportunity to believe in myself. And so, my thought about positive thinking is that it's so important to believe in yourself. If just one person believes in you, deep enough and strong enough believes in you, hard enough and long enough. Before you knew it, someone else would think, if he can do it, I can do it. Making it too. Two whole people who believe in you. And if two whole people believe in you, deep enough and strong enough believe in you, hard enough and long enough, there's bound to be some other person who believes in making it a threesome. Making it three. People you can say, believe in me. And if three whole people, why not four? And if four whole people, why not more? And more, and more. And when all those people believe in you, deep enough and strong enough believe in you, hard enough and long enough, it stands to reason you yourself will start to see what everybody sees in you. And maybe even you can believe in you too. Thank you. God bless you.
Wow.